Our topic du jour is selecting your proper filing status. Du jour. You may have noticed when trying to select your filing status that you qualify for more than one.
Or you notice that you don't fit in any of these statuses because you're freaking awesome.
You really should file that way. I'm sure it won't trigger an audit. You actually always do fit into one category or another, because if you were never married and you don't have any kids or other dependents, then you are almost certainly in the single category.
Why does the federal government always harp on the fact that I'm single?
It actually gets a lot worse, because if you are single, holding all other items of income and deductions equal,
meaning my girlfriend is a deadbeat,
then you will pay the highest tax rate per dollar of income, and you'll have fewer exemptions and deductions. In fact, even if you are legally married, you may still have to file as single if you are what is called considered unmarried, meaning you and your spouse didn't live together for a single day in the last 6 months of the year.
But I thought we were just taking a break.
Moving on, the next filing statuses are married filing jointly and married filing separately. Because of a Supreme Court case called U.S. v. Windsor, if you actually are legally married under your state's law and you are not considered unmarried, then you can check either of these boxes. In the vast majority of cases, you'll want to check married filing jointly because that will result in the lowest tax. But you are jointly and severally liable for all taxes due for both you and your spouse if you file a joint return.
Ah, so if you're married to a tax cheat, then you file it separately. I get it.
Basically, yes. Next, we have head of household with qualifying dependent. This status is for unmarried persons who provide a home for certain qualifying individuals. A taxpayer can file as head of household if the taxpayer is 1. Single or considered unmarried on the last day of the tax year, 2. Paid more than half the costs of keeping up a home, and 3. Either has a qualifying dependent living in the home for more than half the year, or paid more than half the costs for the entire year of keeping up a dependent parent's home, which may include a rest home.
Well, that's a mouthful.
Lastly, you may be a qualifying widower with dependent child. This can be a little tricky because if your spouse died during the tax year for which you are filing your return, even if it was on January 1st, then that tax year you get to file as married filing jointly or married filing separately, a more preferential tax rate. Thereafter, for 2 years, you can file as qualifying widower with dependent child, but only if you have one or more qualifying dependents and you do not remarry. But if you do remarry, then you can file as married filing jointly again anyway. So the federal government is actually preventing you from selecting a less favorable tax status.
I'm touched. Who said the federal government doesn't have a heart?